Yeah, exactly as I've been saying, Runo Misaki should be in Smash Bros.
The first pigtailed fighter!
Of course! Oh, are we recording that?
Have you ever tried rolling a triangle?
Thought so. Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to, I guess, episode 1 of the Bakugan Wiki Podcast. I think this is episode 1 now.
I think it's episode 0.5.
You think it's 0.5? 0.5, 1.
Thank you, Mectanium. So
cares?
Arc 1 and Arc 2.
I mean, yeah. Anyway, I'm Darkest Master, Venomous Brass, whatever. And yeah, let's see what these other guys are this time.
I'm Hato, known as Lamar Devante. As said before, I am the one with the subscriber count. In case one of the hosts disconnects,
Okay.
He just dips out when it's his turn.
All right. Okay. See what I just telling you right now when you're listening back to this, his internet died. When you're listening back to this, you'd better keep this in. I swear to God.
Oh my gosh.
That needs to stay in. That's fantastic.
You better add in the Discord disconnect sound effect.
Where the heck are we?
It's okay. He can be fun mute sounds.
Oh my god!
I want that entire segment in. Otherwise, I'm downvoting this entire podcast. Anyway, that was See What I just completely dropping out of the chat.
I might need to switch which internet I'm on. Hold on.
How much?
Okay, so let's just keep going while he's doing that.
All right. So
Who else do we have?
And I'm Rigatoni Jones, the hilarious rapping talking animal.
Oh goodness, I'm
Very
scared
nice.
for that dog in the Bakugan reboot.
Oh, that's gonna be interesting.
All right, so
Don't tell anybody,
Dog must
Don't
brawl
tell
or I
anybody.
riot.
but I am the dog.
No, everything Rigatoni says just comes true. Just the most benign things.
Oh no.
Oh jeez.
Alright,
That would easily be the worst part about this. Anyway, so today we're going to be talking about the Q3 conference call, I believe, from Spin Master. We've got a little bit of extra information, and then we're just going to be in general just chatting about us and Bakugan in general. Like, why are we still here after 10 years? What keeps us here? What got us into it? All that good stuff. Anyway, let's kick things off with the quarterly report.
All right, so Hato made me get up at 9:30 in the morning to listen to this when I didn't have anything planned today. So, I mean, the fun thing was I got up. I was 17 minutes late to record it, and then Spin Master uploaded the entire audio on their website like tonight. So that was useless. So
and that
thanks,
was an hour
Hato.
ago as well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you couldn't have known they were going to upload it tonight if they were going to upload it at all.
Yeah, this is true. And my internet's still dying. Wow. Interesting.
Also, remember, after the podcast or sometime during it, you have to say "Hey, I'm See What I," so we can add it to the beginning.
Yeah.
Who cares? We're leaving that intro in as it goes. That's gonna be funny.
It's going to get those laughs and ha-has.
That's gonna be so
boy.
good. I hope somehow that disconnect sound made it in. I hope that happened somehow.
Okay, so see what I go on about the report.
Okay, so they open it up. It's, business talk, boring, but
Get to the good stuff.
Yeah, it takes them about 5 minutes to actually get to Bakugan, and basically,
Wow, 5? That actually didn't take that long.
I mean, just to mention it for like a second.
Considering however many properties they have.
Yeah, so we learned 2 things in that first 5-minute clip. So we learned that Takara Tomy is taking care of all of Asia, not just Japan.
That's what I thought. That's how I interpreted everything in the thing to be that Cartoon Network was covering worldwide except for Asia, and that was Takara Tomy. I thought that's how it was going to go down.
So Takara Tomy's taking care of that, and the show, we have a little bit better of a time frame. It is late December and not December 1st, like everyone was talking about it being.
That's honestly a big shock to me that they're doing it so late into December. But I guess I'll just cover that after. But again, I'm surprised that December 1st is the actual official launch from the looks of it.
Well, the thing is, it doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't necessarily mean late December. It's later in December, right?
Well, he said
it could be a weekend.
I believe he said late December. So
that's kind of lame.
Last half, probably after Christmas. Honestly,
why not just make it a Q1 2019 at that point? Make it go on schedule. Christ.
Cartoon Network probably needs something for the slot.
Oh, please. They're probably going to Teen Titans Go marathon the entirety of Christmas, and Bakugan's going to be buried within that.
Actually, that might be why they're waiting till after, so they can get through all the Christmas content, and once that's over, then introduce new content.
Hey, dude, you know that last year the Christmas marathon for Teen Titans Go went like a few days before Christmas all the way through New Year's, and it was Teen Titans Go straight through. With 2 half-hour blocks of Steven Universe. That was it.
Oh.
I have the picture saved somewhere. I don't know where it's at.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of the reboot, I guess, and cartoons that are Western, let's have a shout out to where the writing is taking place.
Oh no. So everyone prepare yourself, because this is the one thing that's going to be disgusting, and it's not something that Rigatoni came up with himself.
Oh, that's a big shock.
Yeah. So writing's going to be in California. Is this like bad?
Which makes me want to vomit. This pretty much means that Japan's not really involved in the creation of this season at all. It's all Western, and it's not even the fact that it's all Western. It's that it's mostly American, and that's kind of worrying me.
I mean, I think that the first indicator that this was going to be Americanized. Well, I'm going to say first 2 indicators. First, Sega Toys is seemingly not involved from what we know. We have seen nothing regarding it. And Takara Tomy is taking over.
Asia's Takara Tomy, yeah.
Exactly. So that's one thing.
Sega Toys might be completely out of it. Like, no, we're not having any part in this.
And then the second thing is the art style itself, which is clearly much more Americanized and not a bit more of the rough anime style, which season 1 had.
Right. There was a bit of a 4chan quote leak a while back, which wasn't so much of a leak. It was mostly just some information that said the show would probably be animated a little bit like Voltron. And I'm not familiar with Voltron, but I saw a little clip and I'm just like, I don't know about that.
Voltron's good. Well, I liked what I've watched of Voltron. I'm honestly not that worried about an American writing staff.
It's not the writing, it's the animation.
All right.
Animation either.
Voltron looked a little choppy.
There's a few more things to actually talk about here, and I'm just making sure that I have my notes here. So one thing to mention is after they had mentioned California, the spokesperson had said that the show was airing in January, which maybe it was an accident, but
yeah, it's looking like it's going to be more towards that date, like late December.
Yeah, I feel like it is going to be later on December. Accidentally saying January, it seems like the date may be close. Maybe they made an error, but considering what we know, it seems like we are just going to get it like right after Christmas, which is really odd to me. But also,
that's a bit of a bummer in my opinion. At least the kids will be like out of school at that point and be able to watch Saturday morning cartoons.
Well, the issue being is that they're airing this right after Christmas. So if kids are getting into the show, they're obviously going to want the toys, but it's right after Christmas.
Right. And I mean, the toys are coming Q1 anyway, so it's
which
not
is
like
still
that'd be
a very odd decision to make. I think they could have taken just a few more months and launched it during Q2. Q2 may have been ideal for them, which is sad to say, but it is true. But at least we are getting something. So Bakugan is already going pretty well in through to the summer of 2019.
But you got to remember that heckin' Christmas money that those kids are loaded up with now.
Oh, dude.
Again, it's a really, I find it to be a really risky strategy. But here's something that was important from the call, and see what I pointed this out to me. This spokesperson said that the older generation who used to play the game are advocates for the toy series for the newer, younger audience, which is interesting because, see what I put in a conversation we did earlier, they finally acknowledge that we exist. And that's really important. But, what are your takes on it before I just kind of like blow up about it?
Thank you, Spin Master, for officially sponsoring the podcast.
Disclaimer. Not a sponsor. Continue.
We are not sponsored. We are not sponsored except by delicious cherry Sprite. Yum, yum, yum.
Hey, no, also not a sponsor. But hey, Spin Master, listen just for a second. Call me. Wink. Continue.
Winky face, got him. So, okay. So I want to say that it's pretty interesting that they're saying that we're the advocates for this, because everyone who's making a video on YouTube is pretty much over the age of 13. And that's important to realize that it's actually kids who were playing it when they were younger. And clearly it's the older people who are creating the hype for this.
It's all the adults and older teenagers that are still doing the collecting nowadays.
Which is pretty
wait, guys, we're the ones making the content.
We're the advertisers.
Oh my gosh. Spin Master.
We are the ads.
Kidding. We don't want money.
I think it's interesting that they do this. But I feel like there's one major issue, and it's that you have to associate the toys with it. And let's say a lot of the adults don't like the show, then I don't know. I feel like that may cause some issues like background knowledge, maybe what goes on with the Bakugan in the show. Of course, toys are always going to be toys, and that is great. And it's good that they finally acknowledged us, but hopefully the toys are actually of a good quality. There's going to be an actual meta. They're going to host actual events. And, there's actually something more competitive to it. So you see the adults showing some genuine interest instead of it being, oh, hey, look, I have this. And then 1 week later, you forget about it.
Yeah.
What's also interesting... Oh, sorry. But I'm just going to say this. What's also interesting about this conversation is the reason this was brought up is because one of the investors asked, why do you think that this is going to do well? And something interesting that I told Hato was they brought up 3 toy brands before that take hiatuses every couple years to, kind of redevelop it. And they mentioned Transformers and Beyblade.
Ooh.
Did I hear spinning tops?
Yeah. So
interesting. I kind of figured Beyblade would have been one that would come up because you know how many iterations that thing has had? I mean, Hato does because he's Beyblade trash.
I am also.
Okay, it's gone through. It's on its 3rd iteration right now, which may last for longer than any other Beyblade series, and it's had a bunch of spin-offs on the sides. It's only on its
3rd?
Yeah, it's only on its 3rd. And we aren't going to be talking about Bay Wheels, Bay Raiders, a bunch of the Japanese manga spin-offs, including the female protagonist one, which was super rare and super obscure.
I'm going to be talking about those later on.
No, we're doing that after the podcast. But I think what they're doing right now for Bakugan, it's a very interesting strategy that they're trying to pull off. They're trying to launch the show first. They're trying to launch it after Christmas. They are trying to entice older fans. And I believe it was also mentioned that it was more of a comedy, which is interesting because let's see how that plays out because it was a bit more action-based. I'm disappointed that it's comedy.
Teen Titans Go, Powerpuff Girls 2016.
Well, something that was said about that was they want it to be comedic, but they also want to maintain that,
Bakugan essence.
Yeah, they just kind of I guess I don't know the exact word that was used, but kind of the majesty or the imagination aspect of, you roll this little ball onto a card and then you're having, huge epic battles with this 100-foot, monster. So I think it might, I don't know how I feel about it being comedy.
I think as long as the comedy doesn't come in the form of only like a one-dimensional comic relief character, I think it has a chance, but it can't be the focus on a show like this. It just can't.
No.
Yeah.
We need the comedy to be slapstick and all about prescriptivism.
Yes.
Oh,
we need the dog to be a Nazi.
That is an inside joke that no one listening to this is going to understand.
Yeah,
And
we
if
should
they are
probably cut
listening
that
to
out.
it, they probably blocked us.
Yeah, we should probably cut that out before we get our entire podcast blocked. So
who cares? Honestly,
we need the views.
the views.
Get views.
Meanwhile, back on the topic.
Anything else on the topic of the conference call that we haven't covered yet?
No, I think we've covered everything. I think the general consensus is that Spin Master is taking a bunch of risky moves, and hey, you gotta risk it to get the biscuit. All right.
I guess that's right.
Before.
I've heard it before. Not a lot, but I know it's a phrase that exists.
And that's all that matters.
I guess
All right.
it is.
Well, I guess we ranted enough about this. So I guess the next topic here is going to be about why did we get into Bakugan and how come we stayed? And I feel like this is going to be a really interesting one if you people care about that. So who wants to kick it off?
Mind if I take that away?
All right,
Go ahead.
So I actually started sometime around the very beginning of it. Sometime in when did Bakugan come out in America? 2007, 2008? Somewhere around there.
2008.
Yeah, so right around when that happened, I don't remember if I saw the show first, but one day my parents came home with 3 Bakugan boosters. There was a Darkest Fear Ripper, a Subterra Reaper, and what was the third? I think a Pyrus Dragonoid, I think, like back in Series 1. And we all got to pick one. My sister got the Reaper, I got the Fear Ripper, and my brother got the Dragonoid. Of course, I got the worst one of the 3 with a 250. My brother got a 300, and my sister got a 450.
Well, I mean, I guess it's not the worst nowadays.
I mean, yeah, I guess the Fear Ripper would do pretty well in today's meta, but my Fear Ripper is actually broke.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yes, I was just I would keep like getting some extra Bakugan every now and again. Sorry, I've got like got not a very great cough going on right now. But I would keep getting some more Bakugan. My siblings would as well. Our neighbor, or like our next door neighbor, and then another neighbor a bit at the end of our street would go on as well. And by the time Gundalian Invaders came around, it was just my sister and I pretty much. And then when Mectanium Surge hit, it was just me.
Oh, wow.
Oh man, I can't say that I'm very surprised.
But yeah, I was the only one that kept going. But I just got into it, I guess. Toys or something I liked. Yeah. It's pretty much the only thing I, besides like Pokemon, I still have connected from my childhood.
Huh, that's nice. So did you stay around for all those years, or did you just take a break and then return later on, you know?
Oh, I definitely did take a break. It was sometime in high school. I kind of just started visiting the wiki less and less as I focused more on classes and all that sort of thing. College came around and I started to get a little bit more into collecting Bakutech, which is kind of my big obsession nowadays. And
I'm very much aware.
2015, I got a few good stuff, a good start on my collection. Then 2018, I got back into it, and now my Bakutech collection is effectively complete. I just need one guy to send out his box of stuff, which isn't happening for another few weeks, which is kind of suckish because I sent my part out to him and he got it within a few days. Oh well.
Sounds like a spicy scam to me.
It's not a scam. I've worked with him before.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
he's just saying it for the long con.
The long con, yeah. More like just super busy and doesn't know when he'll get time. Also, international shipping is expensive. Ugh. But yeah, then I got one of the things I have found myself doing this year is getting a bunch of like rare stuff into my collection. Like I've got 3 single-headed Darkest Hydronoids now, a Battle Gear compatible Helios Mark II, even though it's broken, and the Twin Destructor that goes with it. And I have a few of the MS Baku Evolutions, the Darak, the Helix Dragonoid, and the Alpha Hydronoid, which I sort of team bought with a friend of mine.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I have the MK2 Battle Gear, which I haven't bought yet, and it's been on hold for like 6 months. So,
and you're a moron.
Thanks. But, you've had a pretty good story about it. And hey, it's still going on with Bakutech and getting all the hard-to-get ones, completing the entire series of Bakutech, which is so impressive.
Not necessarily entire series, but just one of each species.
I mean, that's good enough.
It is.
So, who wants to take it next?
How about you, Hado?
All right. So I started when I was, I think, 7 or 8 when it came out in Canada. It came out in early 2008, I believe. And I first got into it when they had an event near my house at the big shopping mall in my area. So I went to the event. My mother took me, obviously. And they were giving out 1 free Bakugan to everyone, and it came with a gate card. No ability cards, because ability cards weren't a thing at that time.
Wait, what? Oh, this was during HSP, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was during early HSP, because later on during HSP, they added ability cards. It was early HSP, which is a long time ago. So I got my first Bakugan, which was a Subterra Serpenoid, but it was the dark brown one because I think they just imported the Japanese ones because, as we know, Subterra is a light-brown in North America. So yeah, that was pretty interesting. And after that, obviously I got really into it. It was a great event to go to. And my second Bakugan, I always interchange what's my first Bakugan, but I got a B1 Pirates Dragonoid. From there, I just kept on collecting. It was really fun, and I didn't know how to play the game. I think one of the most memorable things about Bakugan is when I went to Center Island in Toronto. They actually held an event there for Bakugan where you can meet, Bakugan masters and whatever. And that's a moment I really cherish because I have a few photos there when I was, like 7 or 8. And I got to pose with this giant inflatable Drago. I loved it. I wonder where that's sitting nowadays. But hey, whatever.
The Drago or the picture?
Yes.
Getting a bit of inclusive ore in there. Anyway,
I do have the picture, but I do wonder where that inflatable is.
Probably in a landfill somewhere. Let's be honest.
I was going to say landfill, but I'd like to believe it's in the promised land.
What's the difference?
Jumping back on topic. I left halfway through New Vestroya and I didn't touch Bakugan. I almost came back during 2012, like right at the end of Meganium Surge. That did not end up happening. And I came back in the summer of 2017, I'm pretty sure. And it's because I had found my collection after someone had mentioned it. And I was like, oh, wow, these are pretty cool. Then I went to Buffalo, New York. I went inside the store and they were selling new in-box Bakugan for, I think it was like $6 each. Really good price.
Ooh, that's cheap.
That was like around MSRP, I think.
Yeah,
Probably.
They were pretty good prices. And so I ended up picking quite a few.
And in New York,
my interest just boomed. And so, I've been in the community for over a year now. I went back to that same store this summer. And they still have Bakugan, so I ended up picking up a few. I have a translucent Pyrus Foxbat and Foxbat and translucent Ventus. I forgot which some Percival, but yeah, that's my story. I did have a
36 millimeter translucent Master Ingram.
Oh no, please! No,
Put in that clip. Put in that clip. See what I.
No, please have mercy.
We're just trolling. We're just trolling.
But
Seriously,
yeah, that's my story.
If I ever go to New York at some point, I probably won't. But if I ever go there, I'd probably want to hit up that store and maybe see if there's anything still there. See if I can pick up some.
They probably still have some.
That'd actually be kind of interesting.
It is. Okay, so that's my story about all the events and whatever going on because Canada, the promised land. So, who wants to go next?
I think See What I should go next. We're just doing the podcast intro order.
All right. So, let's see. I originally got into Bakugan because I grew up in a household where Pokemon was not allowed.
Really?
Not allowed to have that in this household. But I always wanted to watch Pokemon and stuff like that. So anything on Cartoon Network that wasn't Pokemon but had that, anime art style, I would watch just to, I guess to be rebellious and be like, it's not Pokemon, but it's pretty much the same thing.
Just to kind of get the feeling of it without actually getting the feeling of it.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. And so because of that, I started watching the show. This would have been, early 2009. Because, yes, it would have been early 2009 that I started watching it. Actually, probably late 2008. And then a couple months went by, and the night before Easter, so this is a kind of a funny story. Me and my sisters were sitting in their room, and I was sitting on my sister's bunk bed, and my sister kicked me. And my internet is dropping.
Yeah, we're noticing some weird things going on with your audio.
Yeah, it's weird. But anyway, my sister decides to kick me while I'm sitting on her bed, which makes me fall and chip my tooth.
Ooh.
And chipped it right in half.
Ooh,
even worse. Not safe for work. Tag, where are you?
18 plus stream because of pain.
Yeah. So that happened, and this was I think I mentioned this was the day before Easter. So Getting up next morning, going to Easter morning church service, and having everyone be like, "Oh man, what the heck happened to your tooth?" And it's just the entire day that's what happened. And so my mom felt so bad for me that she took me to Walmart that night, and she was like, all right, you can get a toy. And I was like, oh man, I can finally get some of them Bakugan. So I was going to get a 3-pack originally, but then I was like, hey, there's actually a game tied to this, but you need 2 teams. So I was there with my older sister, and I was like, hey, you should, you've been watching this show with me. We should convince her to get us one of the 6-packs. And
game pack. Nice.
Yeah. And so we convinced my mom to get one of the game packs. And in the pack was a Ventus Blade Tigrera. So again, this was early 2009. So B2 had come out.
Yep.
And so it was a Ventus Blade Tigrera, a Ventus Limulus, a Darkus Griffin, a Pyrus Ravenoid, and a Pyrus Warrius was the game pack. And
I swear, I think I've had the same game pack.
Probably. I know Hato had got a lot, and he posted a picture, and it had those exact 6 Bakugan in it. So it was probably a pretty common game
with
pack.
the single-headed Hydronoid in it.
Yeah.
So, is that the one you ended up getting?
Yeah.
So after that, my sister would take half of my collection every time I would get new stuff. And that continued for several years until finally, I don't remember what I did, but I did something. I think I did something to where some of them got broken, and it was really irresponsible. So my dad was like, well, you can't take care of your stuff, so you're not gonna play with it anymore. And my collection got taken away and put into storage. This was right before, was it D3 for Gundalian Invaders, I believe?
Wave 3?
Yeah, but I believe the packaging said like D3 or something like that.
Oh, that was with some of the reissued Chromes, I think, and some Double Strike was D2.
Yeah, Double Strike was D2.
Oh, D2. And that's what it is.
And that came around. That came around in Wave 3 with Phosphos.
Okay, yeah. So around the time where
I'm such a nerd. How I know this.
Yeah, it's like Blitz and Phantom Dark, all that stuff. I would walk past.
They were Wave 4.
But I would walk past the aisle with them and see them and not be allowed to get any. And until I wasn't allowed to get anything else until finally in Mectanium Surge, I got one Trinity pack. And then I had just turned 13. So very rebellious me stole a Baku Trinity from Kohl's after they were put on clearance. Yeah.
So I think we have to put another not safe for work tag because we're promoting theft. Disclaimer: we do not promote theft. See what I have.
I just
years in jail.
I remember right after I felt so bad because I just
realized I was muted reacting to that.
Oh no. But I realized I felt so bad afterwards because I remember Kodak would make videos of kids going into Toys R Us and ripping open the Trinities and, you know, how horrible it was. And, you know, Kodak being the good Samaritan he was, buying the boosters just to get the cards that were in them. And I was thinking, you know, who would ever do such a thing? Grr. And then I went home and felt so bad. And in that pack, I got it was a Subterra Inventus Mercury Dragonoid, an Aquas Taline, and a Darkest Vertex.
I owned that same Trinity.
Pretty decent set, but hey, I don't condone theft.
And I have no idea where any of them are.
Hey, something karma.
Yeah. So that was my story, and then everything dropped off from there. A little bit before that, I was a little bit into Beyblade, so that's kind of what, you know, took the pain away of not being able to collect Bakugan. Is I collected Metal Fusion, and I think that's pretty much all I collected was Metal Fusion. Maybe like one or two. Was it Metal Fury or Metal Masters? I can't remember.
Metal Masters, and then it was Metal Fury.
Okay, so it would have been Metal Masters, but yeah, that's why I didn't collect a whole lot. But so, and then like in early June, I was scrolling through YouTube, looking around, and YouTube suggested a video from the one and only Lamar Devente.
I hear he's famous.
Maybe slightly.
I hear he's got awesome hair.
Ooh. But it said that there was a Bakugan reboot coming, and I was like, well, heck, I've been waiting for this silently for years. I should probably, you know, see if there's any form of community around nowadays. And now I'm here.
Hey, that ended up on a good note, you know?
What an origin story.
The origins of See What I. And then I leaked the dev site, and now everyone loves me.
Yeah, we wouldn't have talked otherwise if I'm being completely honest here, because you
literally the first thing you messaged me was, hey, how'd you find the dev site?
That is true. And then we just kind of spoke from there.
Yeah.
But you know what? All good things come to an end.
But now we have. Oh
boy.
All good things come to an end. All right, and this is where the traumatic part starts. Rigatoni, take it away.
Great segue.
Way back, many centuries ago, not long after the Bible began.
I was an Airbender.
No, I'm Joseph in his Technicolor dream coat. So I remember a similar situation. My mom said, Pokemon and all those silly action shows, those are kind of stupid. I said, well, hey, Chaotic and Yu-Gi-Oh! Wow. And that's really what got me into that whole card game thing, was on 4Kids, seeing Chaotic and Yu-Gi-Oh! Was my slow downward spiral that begets the rest of my life. So I remember in about second grade-ish, Bakugan came out in the US, and the first set that I picked up after watching a few episodes of the show and seeing some kids play with them at school was the Bakugan wrist launcher.
Wait, wrist launcher. Was that the launcher that everybody has nowadays?
Yep.
That one. Not the banana launcher, the wrist launcher.
Not the banana launcher?
Not the banana launcher. It's the one which can hold 2 Bakugan. Dan's launcher.
Dan's launcher. Why don't I know what this is?
It can hold 2 Bakugan.
Give me a sec.
It's the classic one.
Oh, that one. Yeah, I know. I know that one. A friend of mine had that.
It might have had. Maybe there's an Aqua Siege with it. Maybe that's the case.
That would explain where my friend got his.
But the one Bakugan I do remember from that set is a Chaos Saurus. You want to know why? I lost it in my city park. I was sad down, but then I soon replaced it with a B2 Gorham Subterra and maybe some other stuff. I got toys very sporadically, so yeah. I don't have many new Vestroya stuff. The only Gundalian Invader stuff that I have is I believe, I could be wrong, but Helix Dragonoid and a Jet Core, both in the Pyrus and colors, and I believe the Jet Core was silver.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Those are the most common GI Bakugan and Battle Gear, probably.
Yeah. I wanted to buy it because, wow, it's a Pyrus Dragonoid and his Jet Core.
Oh, boy.
If that's the only thing you could get from Gundalian Invaders, then I'm seriously disappointed for you.
I think I have other GI Bakugan that I'm not remembering. Then in Mectanium Surge, I had, before Mectanium Surge, there was a kind of a garage sale in my town. Like, everyone does garage sales, including like people putting stuff in the community building if they don't have a garage. And there was just a table full of pudding ones, and like $2 for like 7 B1s in a plastic Ziploc bag. You bet I bought all of those. Pudding. Oh heck! I can't say the F word on this podcast. Bleep that out. Bleep out those. Put my heckin' over.
I was wondering, how long is it going to take for you to realize what you said?
And noted for the bot.
It's going to take forever to edit this now because of the amounts of garbage we've done on the side here.
Hey, we have a note system. Use it.
Yeah. So someone take that note.
I already did. Don't worry.
I remember also during the Christmas before Mactanium Surge, I got Baku Bronze. No, not Baku Bronze. Bronze Attack. I believe that's what it was. Pyrus Dragonoid.
Mm.
You know, the black and gold one that everyone has.
Yep, Bronze Attack. I have the Neo, not the regular Dragonoid.
And a Deca Skyrus Ventus. So, yeah. And then in Mactanium Surge, I somehow got my hands on a Pyrus Wolfurio.
Whoa, that's impressive. Because Wolfurios are pretty hard to get.
Yeah. Not sure how I got that. It might have been.
Did you pull a Sealidai and steal it from a Cole's clearance section?
No, but the last Bakugan that I did buy was from Cole's. I think I bought like a single of Wolfurio. I could be wrong with that.
Interesting.
Then it might have not been a single. Then I got a Dragonoid Destroyer for Christmas. And then the last set of Bakugan I ever got, it might have been from a Kohl's or the TJ Maxx that my sister worked at.
Both of which we don't have in Canada.
Yeah. On like their clearance toy section, it was a Baku Trinity with Darkest Infinity Helios.
Okay, that's good.
A Ventus and Subterra Mercury Dragonoid. And a Darkus and Pyrus Mutant Talion.
Wow, so interesting.
Just Infinity stuff is the Infinity Helios is the only thing that matters.
Yeah, and I think I'm starting to remember where I got that Wolfurio thing from, because I remember also having an Infinity Trister that is
Trister.
I don't hecking care. I caught myself. That the wheel was broken on. So I got it with set with that, the Wolfurio. So yeah,
that's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, so that's about your history. Why are you still here?
Why am I still here? So after Mactanium Surge ended, I like to occasionally check on my childhood hobbies. Just out of habit, to see like what's new with Beyblade, what's new with anything that I liked as a child.
I check on Yu-Gi-Oh! Occasionally, and I'm just like, what the heck's going on?
Yeah. So I decide to check on Bakugan occasionally. I find out like on the wiki, there's rumors of a reboot. And yeah, that sticks with me for a while, and I wonder, there has to be a Bakugan subreddit. And then I saw the Bakugan subreddit and was immediately disappointed that it was all people trying to sell their Bakugan. But then I saw there's a Discord. And a bippity bam bippity boo being on that Discord led me back to the wiki to look some stuff up. And then I saw, oh, the wiki has a Discord. Might as well join that. And after lots of months of lots of stuff coming out, I'm right here in this podcast.
Yeah, I think most of us, excluding, DM, came back because the reboot. And that's pretty interesting. It's really been this new generation of Bakugan bringing us all back and bringing the community back together as it's about to launch in late January. Because we all know that they will probably do that. You make one error and you have to compensate. So can't wait for that late January release. Not December, January.
Anyway, I think we pretty much covered about everything we were looking at for this.
So I guess it's time for us to sign off. So you kick that off, DM.
Anyway, thanks everyone for joining us on this episode. I think it's safe to say it went a lot more smoothly than the other one, despite all our hiccups. So,
we'll do better next time.
despite Siwa I's internet hating him and my unusual coughing fits and everyone's everything.
And my 36 millimeter translucent Master Ingram.
I think this went pretty okay. So I think we're going to shelve it here and pick it up in about a week or two, maybe when the trailer comes out. We'll see. We still don't know if a trailer is going to happen at all, but
probably coming out December 1st now.
Probably December 1st. Yep. Anyway, thanks for joining us we still haven't decided if this is going to be episode 0.5 or episode 1.
I think 1's fitting because the quarterly report came out.
And we can pretty much officially get started. My name is Darkest Master.
I'm Honto.
I'm Siwa.
And I'm doing that hashtag Fortnite T-pose.
Asserting dominance on the audience.
We'll see you guys next time, as long as Rigatoni stops T-posing long enough to let us go.
I will never stop.
Catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.